Okay, yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. So this is actually delivered a business process what Workday provides for initiating compensation process, which is a kind of business process definition. So you see here, there are some errors in this. So which is
Mm-hmm.
saying add a step called release compensation review statement with where is this thing? Yeah, this one. So complete employee reward step, it is asking to actually add the step as it is missing currently. Okay. Now if I edit this one, when I'm trying to add this one, I don't see that step itself in this tenant. I don't know what is wrong with this tenant, but for some reason, I don't see any complete employee reward step here at least. Okay.
Even if you type, then also it's not coming.
No, these are all the only selectable options we'll be having. We cannot
In
get
search, if you type, what happens?
nothing will happen. So you have search radio buttons, so nothing will happen.
Because it's not in the drop down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever that are configured at
Mm.
tenant level, I think those are actually picking up, and that is the reason why we are actually this step is actually erroring out. Complete employee award step has to be actually added here. Once that is added, we'll be able to have that option to actually have awards there. And since at BP level or at tenant level, I don't think how this tenant is configured, because this was maintained by some other agency, right? So
Mm.
there are kind of different setups that they'll be having that is not actually configured in this tenant, and with which will be so in order to fix this one, we need to actually come from basic tenant level setup at compensation. We need to see what has got missed, and we need to perform that. We need to reconfigure that at tenant level. We need to make changes that may actually resolve this thing. But yeah, that may take a huge time. I'm not sure whether we'll be having that control or not. But yeah, I'm actually looking how to have that kind of control for us, and I'm actually looking into that one. And yeah, that is actually not letting us to initiate. We have created everything, but that was not actually letting us to initiate the merit process because of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is one thing. Probably if you have access in your tenant also, you can just access the task called BP colon initiate compensation, the review process. You'll be seeing the actual steps whatever we currently have, but those steps are not uh, we are not able to configure those steps here actually.
Yeah.
So that is the actually um, uh, which is actually making us not to initiate the merit process actually yesterday what we have done.
Mm.
Okay, so when you initiate the process, the merit plan will be actually allocated to that merit plan whatever we have configured, that will be allocated to employee through manager. That's the part that we are intended to see yesterday after initiating that, but because of this roadblock, it was not able to allow us to initiate the process. Like you
Mm.
remember the previous session, we were able to roll out the merit plan. When once we roll out, we ran the process, and we were able to see employees under some particular organization was able to have that compensation, right? Similarly, yesterday also, when we initiate the merit process, whatever merit plan that we have picked up will be assigned to the employees through manager. That was what we were supposed to see yesterday. But let me, see some kind of underlying downstream configuration, see what we can be added to that in order to fix the issue. Okay,
Okay.
that is one thing I thought of updating to you. And so after this, we have a flow like so we've discussed what is eligibility waiting period and the time proration rule and all, right? So but we have not created them actually. So we've
Mm.
discussed what are those, and we have not created. But let's try to create those eligibility waiting periods and proration rules and all. Before that, just to give you a kind of recap on what is eligibility rule is nothing but did I share that document to you? Oh, I need to share two documents to you. Let me see if I
No, the
have
P.
some. And is this the one? Okay, okay, this is the one that I need to share, and probably the PDF file also. Yeah. Okay, I'll find it. It would have downloaded somewhere. I'll find it and I'll share it. Yeah, eligibility waiting period. I think we discussed that the eligibility waiting period defines the rule whether employees are eligible for a merit increase or bonus increase, and we define a rule on a single value such as high date. So Workday will not include any employee in the waiting period when you initiate a merit process or bonus process. That is the main thing that we need to know. And employees who are under waiting period are not awarded with the merit or bonus increase. When the waiting period is over, they'll be able to. And when you run the merit or bonus process again after the waiting period is over, to give the awards to employees in the waiting period, they'll be able to get that award actually. So waiting period is nothing but which defines whether employees will be eligible for a merit increase or bonus increase as part of review process that we'll be having, right? It defines that kind of period actually. So when we create, we'll get to know what does it do on all. So there is a task called create eligibility waiting period. Let's take some time. 12012018. So base pay change within 4 months. These are actually core configurations which you'll be doing when you're actually performing the review process.
Uh-huh.
4 months would be the thing, and base pay 4 months. Date of last base pay and excluded criteria. You'll be taking like request compensation change, right? Request compensation change adjustment. So yesterday we have seen, right, what is the reason for having adjustment thing. So adjustment is nothing but whenever you change anything related to compensations as part of a review process, that will store in adjustment for business object. So most of the things that you'll be performing will be related to adjustment. Corrective adjustment, cost of living, market adjustment, plan assignment, restructuring and statutory. These are actually basic the compensation change adjustment kind of values that you'll be selecting whenever you are actually creating eligibility rule. But based on your business request, you can choose any other one that you wanted to have. But now when I've selected the mostly used values, that we'll be selecting whenever we are actually performing any kind of adjustments.
Uh-huh.
So once we have this eligibility rule, eligibility waiting period created, the next step that we need to create is a time proration. So time proration is nothing but this is again one kind of rules which is used in both the bonus and merit plans, and which evaluates during the merit or bonus process. Whatever the condition rules that we'll be living, the proration rules that we'll be living, these rules will be evaluated during the initiation of a merit and bonus process. The time proration rules are typically used to calculate the proration of target amount what employee actually receives. So, and also this time proration, it contributes to the award pool calculation during the merit and bonus process period. So mainly, the proration criteria can be combined to calculate either the target or the pool actually. So everything will be based on the rule that we'll be defining, and that will be prorated actually. Whatever will be configuring as part of pool, as part of merit initiating process, we'll be actually defining this time proration rule. So we have a task called create time proration rule task. So we'll be selecting prorating criteria, whatever we are supposed to have. So the time and plan, which actually reviews that is defined by process start date and process end date, whatever we'll be having, we'll be selecting in time and plan. Or also similarly base pay changes in period. So we have created the earlier eligibility for waiting period, right, where we have selected the base pay changes in period, and that will be called here actually. So which actually says the base period, the period of time review is defined by the process period start date and process period end date. In a compensation review process, this rule will be used to evaluate base salary changes for participating employees during this time. Okay, adding exclusion criteria will result in applying latest compensation basis to a longer period time or segment during the process, which will affect the resulting award. So basically, we'll be based on process period end date, process period start date. We'll be defining the, this proration rule based on the conditions that we'll be defining. That's the main purpose of having a proration rule, which will be prorating the base pay that you will be entering
Uh-huh.
from the effective date actually. Whatever an effective date that you have defined, that will be actually prorating from there. So basically, you'll be creating as part of review process all these configurations you'll be making, and then make it available for this one. So once you have this one, what you'll be doing is you'll be actually assigning this to compensation process, which we yesterday we have seen, right? We've created a compensation process template, and we'll be assigning to that one, and then we'll be initiating the merit process again. Yesterday we have created one compensation process template.
Uh-huh. Yeah, correct.
Most of the tasks have got changed from last release to this release. So yesterday we have created all these things. So when we create that one, we'll be actually assigning our plans that we have created, and eligibility waiting period that we have created. Everything we'll be creating. And since there was some BP issue for this one, this was actually erroring out. So once we have this compensation process created, what we'll be doing is we'll be actually uh, whatever proration rule that we have created, right? So we'll be actually testing that one. Okay, so we'll be hiring an employee. Have you done any hiring before getting into the compensation? You are part of core HCM, right? Have you done any kind of hiring employee kind of things?
Yeah, yeah, I have done.
Yeah, so we'll be hiring an employee.
Yeah,
So we'll
that
be
is why I
hiring.
was asking yesterday, right? Can hire day be equals to term day?
Yeah, that is different actually. So whatever I was talking about, that is related to hiring an employee with the waiting period. Actually, within the waiting period, whatever we have configured, when you're hiring
Hmm.
an employee, you'll be actually specifying hire date and filling the position within the value that we have defined, and you'll be actually performing a kind of proposed compensation. Assigning a compensation to that one, and you'll be actually initiating the merit process for that employee. So yesterday you asked that can both hired and terminated be on the same day or
Correct.
same event kind of things. You were
No,
asking.
not same event. It will be separate event, but the event effective date will be same.
Yeah, that only. So just on same day, both events can happen. I know you were asking, which
Yeah,
can happen, which can happen. So I've seen most of the plant workers in our the customers where I was supporting. Most of the plant workers will be joining and will be relieving on the same day.
yeah, but earlier this was not a feature in Workday. That's what I hear. It got recently introduced. That higher date and can be equal to term date.
Uh, no, even we were seeing a lot of issues on this from last couple of years. So we are seeing a lot of employees on their higher day getting terminated again. Joining organizations where we were seeing some kind of continuous service date issues with those three cons. So we were seeing this issue, this kind of things happening many months ago. Also, we were able
Hmm.
to find this thing.
Okay.
So now, so, so we'll hire one employee within the waiting period. We'll see how that works actually. So I have Melissa's organization. We'll see what kind of open positions are there. So generally, we'll be going to the staffing position where we'll be having all the open positions created under that organization. So we'll be having all the positions under that organization, and go to any of the position, hire employee. What happened? So we're actually creating a new pre-hire. At least one contact information is actually needed to hire an employee. Then when we have created this eligibility, this thing, SP changes, time proration rule. What is the date that we have given when you're actually creating this proration rule? Was it same, right? Problem. So we are hiring an employee with the waiting period within the waiting period. Month 10/01/2018. For 2021 and new hire. So we have hired an employee. So with the position that we have actually looked for, we have hired an employee, and hiring has completed for this one. And David Cooper. David Cooper has become an employee now, and I'm trying to actually select the compensation event for that particular. Actually, business there has to be a business process. I think someone has changed the business process so that compensation administrator should be able to assign the compensation for that employee. Someone has modified the BP actually. That's the reason why it has not triggered that step. But basically, generally during hiring process, proposed compensation step has to come for comp administrator. Let me go to this employee and see. Yeah, I think someone has removed those steps. Okay. So basically, here we'll be having one more step called proposed compensation, and I think someone has modified the BP, removed all those things. That's the reason why whenever we hire an employee, a proposed
Yeah.
compensation step has to trigger, and compensation administrator has to assign the compensation. Actually, someone has modified this one, and there is a reason why we have not undergone that step. Yeah, basically, you will be actually assigning compensation for this employee and you will be actually giving a right compensation for that one. David Cooper. This is what happened to this tenant here. There are two employees with the same name, I believe. That is the reason why it is showing employee with a different organization.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting into right organization. So we have David Cooper. Earlier it was showing Julie Balls, but Melissa is the manager. Right to date. If we would have got that proposed compensation business process while hiring only, we would have assigned that compensation. Since that step has not triggered, the compensation is not assigned for this employee. See, everything is blank here.
Mm.
Generally, if you get a kind of request, for any kind of compensation change, the same process, you need to do. So if you get
Okay.
for multiple employees, there is a concept called EIB. So you'll be actually dumping all the data in that EIB and you'll be loading that EIB. But if it is one or two employees, you'll be actually doing manually like this. You'll be going to the task and you'll be actually getting into that one. What happened? Employee visibility date. I'll be giving from 2nd of September. Compensation package. I just created one compensation package. Where is this thing? So remember, we have created all these things when
Correct.
we are discussing about our regular compensation. We discussed all these things. Will be defining compensation. And if you wanted to have any kind of hourly alliance, also you can mention, since we have created alliance plan, I'll be adding alliance plan. Why this is not getting edited still? Okay, this is taking a lot of time to upload. Yeah.
Uh, it's slow, right?
Yeah. If you're a comp administrator, you'll be able to perform anything related to employee compensation. Something is missed here. Isn't required. Click on button. relevant change reason that you can specify when you're making changes and submit. That should be accepting. So this performs a kind of business process routing policy whenever any change happens. Compensation administrator will be getting a task to approve this one. If you are provided with the relevant access of this thing, you will be getting a task to actually perform this thing. Perform a kind of, you'll be getting a kind of notification. You'll be getting a kind of approval button here to take immediate action to approve the compensation change that will be performing. Okay, so I think this has some kind of BP. Once the compensation proposal is made, we'll be doing a kind of job change. Have you done any kind of job changes where when you perform a job change, the compensation will be changed as part of job change, and we'll be actually proposing a new compensation for that employee as part of job change, and we'll be giving a kind of new compensation.
So job changes are done, job code change is done, right? So
So
that
when
job
it's
code
uh,
changes has a eligibility rule, which has to be
when you
defined from.
change, yeah, when you change job, everything will get changed. Job
Correct, correct,
profile will
correct.
get changed, job code will get changed, and whatever the new job code that you're taking, whatever eligibility rule that new job code has, that will come into picture. Everything will change actually.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, it has already in eligibility rule, they already have tied comp. So we don't
Yes.
change like comp specifically. We just change their job code, and that job code has eligibility rule tagged. One of the eligibility rule is around comp.
Yeah, so it's completely based on I don't know why tenant is refreshing this many times today. If you go to BP job change,
Yeah, it's not coming.
today is tenant is damn slow.
Hmm.
So whenever something you wanted to make changes, you said you don't want to have compensation change, right? Since it
Correct.
automatically populates through job change. So here is the business process. So generally, whenever you're making a job change, however you wanted to have, you can configure your job change. And generally, because job change is happening, definitely a kind of new compensation has to be proposed. Even though you're selecting a new job, okay, there will be already new the, compensation grade will be specified, right?
Yeah.
But actual compensation has to be configured, right? Actual compensation package for new job profile, what would be the compensation package, what would be the compensation grade, that has to be picked up. Job profile will be actually configuring only compensation grade, right? So when you're actually performing a kind of promotion to an employee to the new position where you are moving that employee should be associated with new compensation package, right? Because everything as part of the compensation, everything is going to change as part of promotion. Now you
Hmm.
need to assign the new compensation package. Compensation grade will be automatically, if you select the new job profile which is associated with the compensation grade, that will automatically come. So compensation package has to be selected, and compensation grade is an optional based on your compensation package that will be auto populated. Now this process, whenever you are actually performing a job change process, you will be initiating that, and it will be going for manager, and manager will be after manager takes an action, it will be routing to HR administrator and performs a job change review, what kind of job change that employee is going, whether it is just a manager change or job title change or job profile change, everything, this HR administrator is going to review this one. And after this one, a compensation change kind of step will be actually coming to HR administrator. HR administrator will be proposing a compensation change. Once the change has been assigned, so the HR administrator will be initiating the new compensation package grade and all, that will be automatically selected with the new compensation part and all. And once that is done, org assignments activity will be triggered, and after that the change up will be completely completed, the job will be completed successfully. So this is how you'll be defining a business process which you'll configure, which you will take an action during promoting or hiring an employee. So this will be different from organization to organization, and the configuration will be based on their job change, the policy that they have, what action to be performed, and when employee is undergoing kind of promotions and all. So when you're promoting an employee, basically you'll be actually defining the new compensation package actually. So probably you would be undergoing a different business process which you will be seeing.
Yeah.
That will be completely based on the steps that are defined here.
Mm-hmm.
But the common thing is you definitely need to have compensation package assigned to that employee.
Yeah.
Great, that will come from job code, but package you have to assign as part of the new position. You will be assigning that package to employee. Clear?
Yep.
Yeah. So that is one thing you'll be actually performing during hiring an employee or promoting an employee as part of compensation change review process. That is one thing you'll be considering during hiring process. Now tell me one thing. I'll ask some of the question based on the task that we have done. Now, in the month of January, okay, the employee base pay was around 1 lakh US dollars, okay, and in June the employee pay increased to 1,10,000 dollars, and the business wanted to calculate the merit based on uh, both the increases, like 1 lakh and 110.
Mm-hmm.
Which proration rule option you will pick based on both the base pay amounts?
When business wants to calculate
So we have a proration rule, right? Like a
the.
base pay change in period, a leave of absence, hire date, FTE changes in period. So we have some kind of proration rules.
Mm-hmm.
So if employee is joining, employee base pay was 1 lakh in January, and in June that got increased to 1,10,000. So if the business wants to calculate the merit based on both the 1 lakh and 1,10,000 amounts, which proration rule you will pick up on this two? With is it base pay change in period, or higher rate, or FT changes in period?
Base.
Yes, base pay changes in period. So because base pay is getting changed with the proration, right? Whatever the term, like Jan to June, whatever the term that is there, based on this period, the base pay change in period is getting calculated, and accordingly the new compensation is coming into picture. And if you have merit plan with multiple plan profiles, and you flag the subject to statutory minimum box on the plan, and you need to assign a statutory minimum for everyone in the process. Is
Mm-hmm.
this what your organization is following, or is there anything that they'll be doing? If there is any merit plan with multiple plan profiles that are going, and they are assigning this to minimum for everyone in the process.
No, they are assigning a range.
Yeah, from the business process wise, from org to org, there will be different kind of requirements which
Yeah.
will be setting up. And also, I think during this process, you will be also seeing some kind of merit plans that they are assigned with, and with the compensation matrix kind of structure that they'll be undergoing. Since you're not aware of compensation matrix, you will be not recognizing that. But yeah, so they'll be undergoing with multiple plan profiles with the compensation matrix, base pay change in period kind of rules and all. They'll be defining. Core compensation
Yeah.
team will be actually performing these jobs.
Mm, okay.
So that's how you typically manage when hiring an employee, when promoting an employee, defining a compensation change for them. Okay, that is one thing you have to know actually. Whenever you're part of configuration team, you'll be dealing with the you'll be dealing with these kind of things. Okay, and probably tomorrow we'll start with the new concept with the like uh, one kind of what do you say, bonus plan, and the process that will be maintaining for bonus plan, and how to assign a bonus plan, and when employee is eligible for a one time plan, how do you pick that one time plan and assign it to employee. We'll be creating some bonus plans, and we'll see when we are hiring an employee, or when randomly for actually existing employee, how to initiate the bonus plan and all. And all
Okay.
we'll be seeing, and we'll try to know more about the bonus information tomorrow. Till now, we have seen something related to compensation. So whenever compensation has to be changed, what kind of the things that has to be followed when hiring an employee, when promoting an employee, or when changing, what kind of proration rule that you'll be seeing on all. We have seen, and initiating process is the only thing that we've missed because of this BP. But probably I'll try to reconfigure entire thing based on my the official tenant, and see if that replicates the issue, and we'll be able to initiate them, because initiate the merit process is the main activity. So whatever you have configured, initiate merit process will be taking this to manager, and will be assigning this to employees as part of a review process. That is the main thing that I wanted you to look at. But yeah, this tenant has some kind of performance issues. Let me fix that configuration part, and probably then I'll try to show you that initiate merit process activity as well.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. So
Okay.
tomorrow we'll start with bonus activities, bonus related stuff.